Calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down. I'm calm. Guys, calm down. Fuck. I'm panicking. That inverted me.
We do have FlyQuest on the side in the bush.
This seems dangerous.
Horror movie cam.
Certainly is. Kane in trouble. There's first blood. Over to Altec.
Isaac's almost dead. 알고. Yeah.
The Victor's low.
Okay, we got that. Back. Go Dragon. Yeah, we can
I
take
push
Dragon.
mid. I push mid, you go Dragon.
Yo, keep.
Yeah, keep us dead. Kill that. Up on your left.
I'm okay.
Go down. I'm a marker. We're a marker.
There's a triple kill for Moon. That's FlyQuest just going nuts. That's the quadra there as well. FlyQuest, real clean endgame as we've always seen, and they're going to force another deciding game. Welcome back to the deciding game in this series between Echo, Fox, and FlyQuest. So we have a little bit of housework to do as player of the game did, of course, go over to Moon, and he's pretty fed Kha'Zix by the end of that game.
Yeah, no surprise, 9-0-8. He was popping off. He got first blood, I think, that time. So denying it from Acadian, they're in a race.
That's the most important
You got to take it away.
After throwing the king, did not miss there either. Great game there from him. I'm continually impressed by the Kha'Zix players finding their ways into team fights. I mean, sure, some true invisibility helps from the ultimate from time to time, but it is not as easy as it looks to just jump in on people and reset in the team fight. You have to pick your spot. Moon picked his spots really well that game.
Yeah, he definitely did, and he definitely deserves his credit. I think it's one of those things where this was a conscious trade, right? They were saying, okay, they get jungle priority, we're going to get priority elsewhere. Didn't work out on this one, and you have to respect the attempt, and you have to respect the fact that they are mixing up the draft, because I think it worked great from them in game one. So you can't criticize them in game two for a mix-up in the draft when you're lauding them and you're saying, wow, that's so great in game one. Oh, you suck in game two. So I think it's great to keep mixing it up, but it's going to be a tough jungle matchup for most of the junglers into Kha'Zix.
Yeah, and I think as we are going to watch our game 3 draft shortly, Kha'Zix is likely one of the champions to watch as far as getting into it all. We know he's super strong. I mean, Rengar's good as well, but he barely ever gets through. Be curious to see if things change dramatically with the team swapping sides back, because we've had definitely some more different red side drafting than blue side drafting from FlyQuest. They definitely like to mix it up more on the other side. Echo Fox, they kind of did their thing with the third pick in Ivia. It seemed fine, but again, couldn't hold up to the team play and, of course, the Kha'Zix going mental, which I think Arcadian is the type of player that probably benefits from having a slightly stronger jungler. Not that he's bad on Graves.
Yeah, I mean, his other Graves game, he went off, right?
Yeah.
This one, it didn't work, but I don't definitely think it's all on him.
No, not at all.
I think the Nivea was fine. I think everything as far as draft was really fine from Echo Fox. I think that it's just credit has to go too high and to the rest of FlyQuest for great team fighting, great positioning, and the Baron sneak. Those were really the big things in that game for me.
Yeah, it was just such a good setup. I mean, as soon as I saw Altec walk up and just kind of place the controller down, I was like, oh no, I know exactly what this call is. And it worked out wonderfully there for them. But excited to see what happens in the draft. We've had some pretty funky mid lane matchups, which is cool. Didn't expect to see 2 Victor games in a row and winning at that, but welcome to FlyQuest, Echo Fox.
Yeah, I mean, Victor had been so common last season, but it has not really been showing up nearly as much these days, as there's a lot of kind of high priority mid laners. But that's some of the beauty of the 10-ban system, is that if you can play these different champions, Victor looked great from both sides in both games, right? It's not like this champion is not good anymore. Maybe it's not the absolute top S tier, but you can knock some of those champions out. You can mix it up, and if you can perform on a lower tier champion, that's something that you can very consistently get.
Yeah, and mid lanes are very deep right now, especially as far as the pools go. It's the reason we see it dropped relatively far in the pick phases, especially with 2 extra bans often being thrown there. It's cool to see, yeah, a lot of mixing up. So I'm expecting Froggen and High to kind of go blow for blow still. I'm not sure if too much is going to change between the draft. Like I mentioned, jungle seems pretty important, but the bottom lane seemed very set in their ways. We saw Varus for Keith over any of the other available AD carries. He was comfortable there. I think Jin's shown up nicely because you can apply a lot of pressure, but the other utility AD carries are also good at that. Malzahar for elimination seems like a sure thing at this point, and Gate's happy to take whatever's available.
Yeah, I think there is the potential for some mix-up just because we're swapping sides again, and Kha'Zix has been very effective, right? Do you want to give Kha'Zix over to Acadian? They're going to have first pick this game, right? So that is something that you do have to kind of take into consideration. What are you willing to give up there? FlyQuest has shown much more willingness than other teams to actually mix up the red side bans, right? And that can be what causes the crazy drafts. That's what caused the crazy draft in game 1, and that is often what prompts new champions to come out, is if you're willing to have the flexibility, make the trades of the OPs and stuff, there's kind of sometimes champions that are lower on the tier list that perform well against them.
And I'm definitely curious to see What happens with Camille? Do they just ban it away on the red side and keep it standard, or the FlyQuest maybe poke it back over? Because, I mean, one game, yeah, you can excuse them for getting just destroyed by Gates Camille, because no one, including us, expected that support Camille. I mean, she is a strong champion. I wouldn't want to give her away, but they know a little more now.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, yes, they died in the 2v2 in lane, but they misplayed, right? No heal was used, no exhaust was used, lemon flash late. There's a lot of supports that can kill you 2v2 in those sort of circumstances. So it's just true.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't have to necessarily be like, oh, we can't do that again. If they say, you know what, Poppy's going to smash that Camille. If they're happy with that, then they could say, you know what, we don't have to worry about the Camille support. Not going to be the case, though, so no reason to talk about it anymore. Camille off the table. If it is Camille, LeBlanc, Rengar, things are very much going to be pretty standard as far as our drafts go. We'll see if FlyQuest is willing to make any changes, and it's so already they're looking for trades.
There's the Rise, Syndra, and Varus banned actually from Echo Fox, so definitely more targeted bans that we expect. There's LeBlanc, which is a bit more standard as far as bans go. FlyQuest are going to change it up though, and maybe they ban Rengar, maybe they don't. I'm very curious to see what happens.
Now, see what you can do here, and this is kind of what we've seen in some series, is we're saying Rengar and Kha'Zix, they're kind of the same. Everything else not the same. So in this case, FlyQuest will ban it out. This just kind of gives them an extra ban because the trade wasn't willing to be made. But if they don't ban it, then Echo Fox can take Rengar, sure, but they at least get the Kha'Zix, right? So there's kind of trades, and it just depends on what your list is as far as the OPs and the priorities. But for now, they're not willing to do that, so they will kind of get knocked down a tier as far as the jungle pool goes.
Kha'Zix first pick for Arcadian looks good as Jhin and Malzahar though for FlyQuest, so a big priority on Jhin today, it feels like, at least in this series, and Lemon Nation is just being very consistent with his Malzahar pick. I can't blame him. There are counters that exist, or champions that at least fare well in lane, but it seems like FlyQuest are happy to play against those. There's Ashe for Keith as well, with Varus banned off and Jhin picked away. He'll take arguably the best AD carry of the bunch.
Yeah, and Zyra, another kind of advantageous bot lane matchup, but once again, like I said, it's only really the advantage if people are willing to fight you, right? If FlyQuest is just going to sit a mile back and kind of chill out and not really go for anything, you can turtle it out, you can wait, and if they engage into you, Malzahar is incredibly strong with the Voidlings. Even if they don't, you hit 6, you can get jungle assistance, flash ult. We've seen that be very effective time and time again, so going to be watching for that. Hai does get his almost signature court.
I like this change a lot, actually, from FlyQuest. They're saying we can probably handle the jungle. They're likely expecting to get targeted here, but Hai is just saying, give me a strong champion. I'm going to really put the game on my shoulders and take a pick that he's shown up well on very early on into this season of the NALCS. TF ban for FlyQuest, so they know where they're going. Echo Fox, hand kind of forced here, I feel like, to the jungle, but Moon's been a strong player. You might as well kind of move him down a few pegs onto different junglers. We saw Arcadian struggle a little bit in the last game as a result. Not too much, but certainly a little bit. And looks like we didn't get there on the final ban as Victor banned from FlyQuest.
Yeah, so it is the Victor, not going to be a Nivea. And Echo Fox does have their last jungle ban. There's obviously a lot of options as to where you can go here. And it is kind of just basically what your team is most worried about. What do you think is your comp is most susceptible to? Some people would ban something like the Rek'Sai, but there are different ways you can go, and you can say, hey, it actually doesn't even matter. We'll rather ban something else out. So they're going to take off Maokai. They don't want Balls to be able to kind of first pick in this second round, and that makes a lot of sense too. If you're saying that Rek'Sai is about the same tier as a bunch of other junglers, then who cares, right? Doesn't matter about banning any of the rest of them. If Lee Sin is the only one that's a peg above.
Yeah, and they actually take Evelynn again there for Moon, so nothing missed for Echo Fox. Do get that second ban in there, but FlyQuest kind of going to more offbeat jungle here. We saw Moon play it in game 1. Didn't look too good, but I don't think I can completely blame the pick for that one, given how turbo Echo Fox were playing.
And Moon did like have a standout game on the Eve, right? His team, the game did not look good for them, but he was like 8-4, 8-3 right before the end of the game. The rest of the team was not doing well as far as, you know, scorelines and so on and so forth. So Eve definitely has the ability to pop off, and Moon was doing so in game 1. If his lanes had been going better, I think they could have really taken over.
Well, it looks like Nautilus and Orianna, round out things for Echo Fox, and there's last pick Poppy for Balls in the top lane. So we'll be tank versus tank. Balls just happy to take the kind of final tank remaining of the trio. And Froggen gonna keep it nice and standard. Orianna, very safe, very standard champion, I would say, in the mid lane, but you kind of need something that can go toe-to-toe with Hai's Corki, especially because you know he's going to be aggressive with it.
Yeah, you definitely do. I think one little concern about FlyQuest's draft is, do they have a lot of tank killing power, right? Yes, the Malzahar support does help you do that, but Corki does a lot of magic damage. Malzahar does magic damage. Eve is pure magic damage. Jhin is not known as a tank killer. This is something that could be problematic. Obviously, it's not always going to be the thing that decides the game, but a very tanky Looper supported by Froggen with those Orianna shields could be really tough to deal with in team fights.
It certainly could, as the coaches will shake hands for the final time in the series. Kind of been great to watch the drafts back and forth between the whole series. That's one of the nice things about best of series is that you almost get a little mini metagame developed. Sport Camille, fortunately, out the window after game 1. Echo Fox, though, don't necessarily need something a little gimmicky to take this game, but FlyQuest, certainly known for their comebacks. I mean, that's kind of high in general, I feel like, but...
Reverse sweep all the way through.
Maybe. That's the plan all along. Well, he's back on the Corki. We'll see if he can get it done. We're going to very soon move ourselves on to Summer's Rift for our final game of this series, at least. Fox and FlyQuest. Fox fighting to continue their momentum. FlyQuest actually fighting to stay undefeated still, which would be quite a thing to watch, particularly if they can make it all the way to some old friends in Cloud9. But they're going to have to win this game to continue this streak.
Yeah, and C9 will have to win later today against CLG if they are going to stay both undefeated before they meet. That would be pretty exciting. One thing that did get glossed over a little bit in game 1 was the fact that Moon, I'm almost positive, first appearance of Eve in the NALCS this year. Not sure if it's been seen elsewhere. I haven't personally seen it, but obviously I have not tracked every single game. And it did get glossed over a little bit because of the Camille support. But as I said, Moon is a great Eve player. He is known for his Eve. He plays it a lot in solo queue. He was kind of a guy that had a reputation as one of those Eve one tricks or whatever you want to call him. And it's a really frightening champion, something that you always have to play around, show the respect to. Keith didn't a couple times last game.
Nope, not at all.
And he got punished big time, right? So we'll have to see them keeping that in mind. You have to play like the Eve is always there.
Well, no level 1s this time for either side as everyone's fanned out. Maybe playing a little more cautiously to start the final game, because this is the only one that really matters at the point in the series.
You did see that FlyQuest 5-stacked on the red side, though. So if Fox went for that kind of invade on the red buff, where you go in, you get the ward there, and then you try to steal that away, they would have walked into a 5-stack, and that is what FlyQuest was looking to set up. They actually do want to try to start this off. There's 3 members of FlyQuest here. They should be able to call this out, though. They shouldn't be walking into this. Froggen should be like, hey, High's not here, guys. High's not here.
Oh, they're going to face check him. Balls is going to try and slam Arcadian in. He flashes over the wall, but Looper going to have to flash the Baron Pit as well. 2 summoners pretty much for free there.
I do not understand how they did not realize what was happening when High has not shown up in the mid lane. That, to me, is bizarre. So I think that is a big mistake from Echo Fox. To not be making that call, you know, as Froggen, and to not be backing off, giving the respect to High that he's collapsing on this play.
Well, have to like the aggression, but certainly the execution not there as FlyQuest effortlessly defend that little point of aggression. Gate and Keith doing what they can as far as the farm goes, but we'll kind of be curious to see how the matchup develops. We've seen a lot of Malzahar Zyra in the series. Eliminations played at all 3 games, but Jin's kind of got the better end of a lot of early trades because he does a lot of damage early on with his 4 bullets, especially if you hit them with the last one.
Certainly does. You can see a lot of these plants kind of stacking up for Gate, though, so if they push in too far, can definitely get punished by that. I really want to track if Moon's able to get himself much of an edge now, right? Moon was gifted this very big start over his opponent. Acadian had to flash. Acadian started really low on health, had to get a no-leash blue buff start, really not what he wanted. And as a result, we could see Moon either try to go for super early ganks or to try to do some cheesy stuff. Try to meet his opponent at his red buff, which High is given a vision of.
Yep, nice little ward there from High, getting deep vision in Moon.
Ooh,
but now he's going to keep farming up. In fact, Acadian.
This is like pretty desperation. If this doesn't work, he's going to lose his red buff and he's going to be so far behind. I think he's basically making the call that, you know what, I'm so far behind, I must go for a play.
Yeah, and it's kind of an all-in. Balls has the flash, but he needs to use it at the right time. Going to try and get the shield out. Flashes over, but Acadian, it doesn't matter. First blood once again.
The first blood king, and Moon actually completes the base there and doesn't go for the red. Which to me, I think he should have just been going straight for the red, at least taking that away. They have it worded out. They know that this was a cheesy path here from Acadian. It was in response to being so far behind off that, and it does pay off. And the fact that Moon doesn't even take away a single camp for it is a little bit disappointing to me.
Seems like a mistake, but good setup here. Looper and Acadian actually now showing some synergy together.
Yeah, and this was quite nice. I mean, Balls has already been chunked down a fair bit by Looper. And when he goes back in, he wants the cannon. It's always the cannon pastry. You get baited for it, and Acadian doesn't waste his leap. So even if Balls flashes, he does have that leap to follow and will be able to get that kill. Now Moon is making his way over, going to be able to scare Acadian off that buff as Lemon Nation was coming in here too. So that is good by Acadian to show that respect. He has to play it pretty safe. Lemon Nation caught on the wrong side though.
Don't know if he wants to be standing there, trying to get damage down, but there it is, Acadian looking for something, gets a flash out of the deal. Gate's going to have to flash there as well, back to the safety of his turret. And Lemon Nation, a little lucky to be alive there.
Ooh, now they're going mid lane. We'll see if Froggen has any idea this is coming. His wave is pushing hard against him, so Moon is going to be wrapping around behind him. We're showing just from Froggen's perspective, and there it is.
Yeah, Hyde looking to dive in there. Moon doing good damage, but Froggen burns the ghost, and that's all he needs. He's going to go for Hyde. Very aggressive play. Froggen, though, still looking to chase it down. He doesn't have any help. He's just going 1v2.
Nice play there from Froggen. Just blows the ghost, and he's able to push both people out. And he's going to be able to deny a lot of this low HPCS as well, because a lot of those minions are super low. Fly has to back off, and you can't even really send Moon over there to collect it unless they see Froggen base, because it's pretty risky. Looper's making the roam down.
Ooh, Moon gets away. Good ward from Looper. But a face check there for the Evelyn. If Moon wasn't paying attention, it was probably a kill for the old Nautilus. So I like the play there from Looper, and it's good to see the top half of the map in particular kind of work together a bit, and we haven't seen that much of Acadian plus Looper. Again, they're a very new team. There is some language barrier issues there as well, but even just glimpses of communication and a bit of synergy being built there is a good sign for Echo Fox as well.
Just Looper being involved in anything. We just haven't seen Looper involved with the team. It's really felt like, you know, Froggen and Acadian are working well together. Keith and Gate are kind of off on their own. Looper is off on an island, and you know, and then they group up every once in a while for a team fight. But they are definitely trying to work together better and better, and that is always going to be the story with these mixed language teams and with these teams that are kind of put together more recently. It does take time to gel. It does take time to start to work together. And the Echo Fox of the last couple of days has looked insanely better than the one of week one. Yep. So you can tell that it is working. Just maybe not as quickly as they would have hoped.
Moon actually committing pretty hard for a gank here. Lemon Nation trying to look like delicious bait, but Keith and Gate smelling something, I think, and not going to overcommit for a potential play. They know that turnarounds can happen quickly, even just in the 2v2.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where if someone is making themselves too easy to kill, you're like, ooh, you got to show the respect. Like, you don't just randomly walk in like that and take all that damage without the Eve there. And last time we talked about the fact that Echo Fox didn't show the respect to the Eve. That's why they got a lot of kills early on. Now they kind of are showing a lot more respect to him. They're saying, hey, he's probably waiting in that bush. Let's not go for it.
Froggen's going to take down that control ward. Acadian was looking for something there on the side, but not going to find it. Level 6 for both the mid laners. This Froggen actually has a pretty healthy CS lead so far. Looking at 20, although Had's going to even it up as he kills this wave. But Froggen has been able to get pushing in the lane, kind of getting advantage here over High, and again, just do Orianna thing, start to pressure them off, use that ball to zone them away, and High in his Corki, which has been such a strong pick for him so far, is actually struggling a bit in the lane here.
Yeah, definitely. And I do think that as far as scaling goes, Echo Fox has the advantage. I feel like Orianna's team fighting in combination with the Ashe over the Jhin, and even Looper on the Nautilus over the Poppy, I do think they have edges here, because I think that they're really going to struggle to take down a really tanky guy like the Nautilus supported by the Orianna with basically 4 AP type damage dealers, or well, Poppy's not AP, but doesn't really deal much damage. So it's something that they're going to have to deal with, and they want to be snowballing on these champions. They're kind of mid-early game champions. Obviously, we're only 8 minutes into the game, so it's not a concern just yet, but it is always something in the back of your minds where you kind of have that pressure to get something done if you are FlyQuest, especially on the Evelyn. You always are feeling like, oh, I gotta make some ganks work, gotta do something, gotta do something.
We've seen Hive Corki, particularly with the package, kind of be that big, impactful play at this time. So 1,000 gold is nice there for Echo Fox, even though it is early. Acadian actually stealing away a blue after giving Froggen his, so that's a nice bit of counter jungling. High, he's going to survive without it, but it's just so much better for him to have it, especially given that Orianna recently picked it up. But
yeah, it just allows Froggen to push in non-stop, and now the Eve is going to be here. They're looking for Keith. Will he get out?
Flashes away, but Moon does have ultimate, but doesn't want to go for it. Not enough vision, I think, and Acadian was ready in the back.
And I think that's the right call. When you get the flash there, they haven't committed anything more than just the Jhin ultimate. That is not a free kill, and they don't know where Kha'Zix was. In this case, Kha'Zix was coming to support. So if you flash in, the Kha'Zix jumps on you, you're probably going to die. So I think that's a smart call. Still good gank there by Moon. Nets him a flash, and we'll see if they can make Keith pay on the return.
Maybe waiting around, but Moon actually going to move himself towards the Drake area. Maybe start to clean out some of the vision that Echo Fox do have, or maybe even looking for Froggen again. Can spot Moon clearing a control ward. So Fox had some good vision, but should be an early fight for this Infernal Drake, which is always a good one to get. And High now pushing in the lane. He's got the package. It seems a little telegraphed, but High always antsy to get out of his lane and try and make a play.
Hey, even if they know that you could do it, if they don't respect it, if they don't play around it, then you can punish them, right? All he has to do, he walks briefly down towards bot lane. Now they must back off until they see him again. These are little things that you can do. And sometimes players make mistakes, right? Sometimes they just forget about it. They don't respect it enough. And even if they have the idea that it could be coming, they don't always play around it.
Yeah, nice lane ward actually from Froggen. You can see just above High's plane before, so very acutely aware that High's probably looking to leave lane. But again, just going to keep farming it up. Froggen, I thought he was taking Raptors. Looks like he might have been. Arcadian going to try and get some vision. Bit of poke there from High as well. He's got a good little ward position of his own. And Arcadian not interested right now in trying to go for mid, so they're just going to keep farming it up. Froggen again keeping up that CS lead. As Arcadian going to take control of the Scuttle Crab, and looks like a base is coming for the bottom lane of Fox here as well. Arcadian could go for this, but not quite enough knowledge for that. Instead, just blast himself over to the red buff.
One of the real problems with starting it up with your bot lane and base like this is if they show up, not only do you have to run away, they probably get a dragon because you've essentially leashed it for them because you have to jump out. So I think it's a little bit too risky to go for that dragon right there. He is establishing vision though. He's got themselves the scuttle, so that's like step one, right? If they can get a catch here, which they might do. Oh no!
That's not it.
That's definitely not it.
No kill there onto Elimination. He'll live to tell the tale this time. Keith gonna deal with his Voidlings, but Elimination had the flash, but that was about it.
Point blank like that one, you gotta hit that or at least force a summoner. That early arrow is very important, right? That is something that has so much power, and imagine they get that kill.
That's all
that could be a dragon.
Moon's in the back though, but here's Looper actually, along with Arcadian, gonna pressure down the turret. Looper goes in, he finds a hook.
Oh.
Great flash from High.
Here's balls.
Balls in there as well. Good flash out of the Poppy E by Looper. As Elimination's been spotted again. He's got no ultimate, so Arcadian's not worried. There's Gate with the snare, blocking him up once more. And Froggen goes in for the flash. There's the kill, and now can look for another. Froggen ghosting in towards him. Exhaust is committed. Arcadian leaps forward, but here's the Jhin shots. Trying to snipe off someone. Altec, though, forced to cancel off the ultimate, and Echo Fox get 2 clean ones.
Yeah, they get themselves a kill on Lemon Nation. They will be able to back out without losing any of their own. A lot of summoners forced here, and they're going to go for the dragon. They are still low on health. Altec doesn't have his ult, but he has both summoners, and we do have Moon coming in here pretty high on HP. This is risky. Froggen is kind of by himself, maybe going down.
There's an ulti. Damn it is there. Altec looks for the sniper. Moon
Can they even get the dragon?
Dead. Drake is going to go over to FlyQuest as well. That was a misstep. That
was just brutal. I mean, Looper is back on the top side. If he's not going to TP down, if you're not going to commit to that, why even try? They give up their mid laner. Death there, and the Infernal. That is a really powerful dragon. So pretty sloppy stuff here from Echo Fox. It did start off well. Good chunk onto High, and then, this was a long, extended series. Looper was making a good roam. They were able to kind of put some pressure in there, and looks like we're right back.
Okay, gets it this time. Gate's gonna follow him with the snare. Arcadian looking for it.
I actually thought we were watching another replay.
Me too.
I was like, wait, why are we watching this replay again?
Bit of deja vu, but Elimination does fall this time around. Flash was making it a little bit easier as Gate's going to try and chase down Altec. Lands it in. There's the follow-up ulti. Keith doesn't get in there in time. Altec able to flash out from under the Stranglethorns.
Summoner force. Good job by them there. They get 1 kill. And they're going to push out Altec, which means they can get some damage down on this turret. And first turret is still up for grabs, right? That is something that is going to be a big injection of gold. Definitely would love to grab that for their team because they're already up a little bit. And if they could take one down, which won't be this time. One thing to say though is Looper, both games, has really chunked down the top lane turret very low by himself. So, you know, he has been the one with the map pressure and kind of the lane pressure. Balls has been leaving lane more in these 2 games, and as a result, like, look how low that turret is. Looper was pinging on it. He definitely wants to take it out.
Yeah, I saw a blue ping as well. I think they're going to rotate the bottom lane up and try and really take it down. So I like what I'm seeing here from Echo Fox, knowing that extra gold is up for grabs.
Now, this is essentially what they were trying to do the previous game with rotation, except they kind of are doing it better this time. So they should be the ones who get the first tower, whereas last time they kind of made the rotation too late, and even though they had the HP advantage on the turret, they got it too slowly. So they should be able to grab this one. I don't think there's really any way that balls can hang around here. 3 men going bot lane for Fly, but the turret is much more health.
Ooh, that was a commitment. Froggen with the blind ultimate attempt. Does not land onto high, but I like that they were covering at least. Turret is also going to go over to Echo Fox, but it will just be a trade. So the gold lead should remain around the same. Echo Fox will be up about 2K. In fact, FlyQuest,
both teams are pushing.
Faster. Yeah, they're going to keep going.
There's less minions topside, though, because there's no one defending on the bot side, so they're going to end up getting another turret. Froggen is pushing mid lane. He's going to want to try to get up there, and we'll see if they can actually trade the mid lane turret for the bot lane tier 2. Otherwise, FlyQuest has just kind of outdone them a bit.
Yep, they're going to get this turret pretty comfortably.
Looks like they will get mid lane.
A few more shots required, but mid's going to get broken open. So very curious to see trades here. See a lot more skirmishes and picks from these teams, at this time playing a little more cerebrally.
See a fight? No, okay, never mind. Okay.
There's no flash. Can't flash ulti with the Malzahar.
That's true.
That's done. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. These teams definitely like to brawl. So you never know when a fight's going to break out. Instead, we'll have a kind of a lopsided turret exchange. Not as far as total turrets go, but certainly as far as positions go. Bottom lane wide open now for Echo Fox. Top lane, kind of a gaping hole, or a little bit of a hole there in the top. And the mid lane is kind of the crucial bit there, as Echo Fox have full dominion over that top angle of the red side.
The top quadrant of that jungle, definitely. I definitely favor the trade for Echo Fox, because not only do they get first turret, they take down the mid lane turret. And the mid lane, I think, is really the key to kind of unlocking the map. Take a moment and look at the vision from Echo Fox in the topside jungle. They take down those 2 turrets. They have 3 pinks, 4 regular wards up there. Like, they have full vision. So they're really trying to take over that side. And Froggen is moving up to top lane, so they have kind of expected this roam. Good job by Looper aggressively clearing that minion wave. And if Froggen wants to hang around, we'll see. Because if FlyQuest tried to commit to something, they could really get it turned around.
Fox can see a lot as well. Froggen actually nice use of the Scryer's Bloom. He's actually going to bring Gate up here as well. He does have his ultimate and Sums ready.
FlyQuest has to be careful.
This is way more dangerous than they think about. Artak's getting knocked up. Looper goes in. Wombo there into the shockwave, and there's another Gate. Takes down Artak. Stranglethorn's going to miss as Fly flash away, but there's the double in for Gate. Froggen going to keep chasing down balls. He'll flash out the safety. And now Moon's looking for something bottom lane.
Seen this one before.
Yep, I know this movie. It ends badly for Keith. Straight into high there. Ulti up from Moon, clips him on the edge, and that's a kill. Keith smartly just leaves his summoners and kind of takes a moment to realize what he's done.
Yeah, they caught him slipping, but thankfully for the rest of the team, they got a couple picks on the top set. They are pushing up, and that was a great setup from Echo Fox. Planned a couple minutes in advance, really. Froggen was already up there. He was checking vision. He's hanging around. They knew what FlyQuest was doing. They read it, and they reacted very well. And we get to see it again. It's a thing of beauty. Great flash. Froggen ghosting to make sure his ball does not leash to him. That is key as well. Lands the shockwave on 2. They pick up a couple more and force the summoner out of balls. So would have loved those kills to go over to Orianna, but still not the end of the world. And then Keith, he's on a little tour down here, having a safari in the bot lane, trying to replicate that split push magic from last game. Not going to turn out this time.
No, and the franchise is ever growing here for FlyQuest versus Keith. That's the 4th installment, I believe. So well over a trilogy now.
Yep.
We're getting straight into a long saga.
I'm still enjoying it, though. Those ratings, they're still high.
Looking good. I mean, it's great TV, certainly. So we'll see how the rest of the arc develops. 18 minutes in here. Echo Fox still holding a decently 2,500 gold or so, so I haven't grown it too much since last we checked in. Infernal Drake is up, though. FlyQuest got the first one, so a good equalizing break. And Elimination gets himself sniped.
Good pick there by Froggen and Keith. Froggen doing the brunt of the work. The arrow helping to secure that kill, though. And this will be an Infernal Dragon for Echo Fox. So they messed up on the first one, but they grab the second. Things are even, and they have the pushing advantage in the bot side. Should be able to collect another.
Balls gets top turret for his trouble, so we'll be even in turrets, actually, but Echo Fox kind of a little further ahead on those last few minutes of play, and equalizing Infernal Drakes is always nice. Map still very much open. Fly don't have access to that central part of the map with the mid-outer still being up, so that's a pretty critical point for Echo Fox to maintain control over. But again, we've seen a lot of similar team comps for these two teams in the series so far. Lots of damage, lots of pick potential, and both these teams seem to win by finding an aggressive foothold with a pick and then snowballing the fights out from there. We've seen that from Echo Fox when they've looked good, and that's been FlyQuest all season long. Yeah,
and that has not been Echo Fox's MO for a long time, but in these recent days, it's kind of their new identity, and I love that they are committing to it even when they lost. I'd rather see a team lose hard making plays than sit back and just kind of slowly bleed it out. You got to play to win. You cannot play the game to not lose. When you're sitting back, you're just seeding, you're just giving up everything. You will never win. You're going to just eliminate all your chances. I do also like some things in the builds here for Echo Fox. So you can see some nods to how much magic damage there is. Already Hex Drinker for Acadian. We're having an Abyssal built up here for Froggen. So they are kind of really trying to index over towards that. And with the Spirit Visage done for Looper, you got to think that there's going to be more MR coming next, perhaps in the form of a Guardian Angel or something like that.
Certainly game's going to be broken open by one big fight. If we find one, FlyQuest actually doing a nice job getting the inside track onto mid lane. So we'll see if Echo Fox can find their way around. Looper posturing for a flank. They're just going to hit the control word a couple times. That will regen health first. Fly with the pack, high with the package, excuse me.
And he does have his level 2 ultimate, plus the Trinity Force, plus Zork Boots, and they're looking for the fight with the package. Let's see.
Ball's actually at the flank. He's going to get slammed into a wall. That's a big kill. Gate getting low, but last ball's not enough. High, though. Maybe getting taken out by Acadian. Not quite there.
Oh, the
shot pulls
shockwave.
back, though, as that could turn around. Lemonation gets himself caught out as Looper now snared up. Feet caught. That flash, no, wasn't committed. He's maybe trying to go over the wall, but Moon's going to take him down instead. He'll hold on to the Sona spell, but a bit of a mess. 3-for-1 trade in favor of FlyQuest.
Just as we call it out, they go for the aggressive play. This was really the perfect time. That's exactly when you want to fight as FlyQuest, and Echo Fox did not pay them their due. They did not respect the engage with the package, with the level 2 ultimate, the Trinity Force, all these item completions coming in, and these critical levels coming in for FlyQuest, and they get a great fight from it.
Yeah, Froggen couldn't quite turn it around with the shockwave. In fact, both the mid laners are still building up towards some really crucial items. I mean, they both have one good one, which is nice. Trinity Force for high versus Morellonomicon, but we're not going to see a completely game-changing play from the mid laners until they get towards 2, 3, and then above that as far as itemization goes. It's actually funny, with how fast-paced these games have been, I forget that we're still quite early on, and this is the closest we've seen these two teams so far in the series.
Yeah, they really are close, and Echo Fox definitely paying attention to the Baron this time. They don't want to give that one away again, and we're going to see them controlling vision around there. You know, it's still early in the game for it, but now we have Looper kind of lurking around the mid lane. Moon is on the side here. He does spot him out, so that's going to be pinged out. They're aware of the possibility of that flank and are going to have to kind of pay that respect, especially because the fact is Looper is going to bot lane. He has to get that wave, and Balls has his TP. Looper does not, so FlyQuest can look to make more aggressive plays. They can threaten the Baron, they can threaten dives, they can do things like this because they have wave and TP advantage.
And even though it's good for Echo Fox that this turret is standing, it kind of informs a lot of their play, given that they're going to hold on to this for as long as they can. Looper's going to clean out where he can. Flash ulti on the Frog, and there's the snare in a Moon. He's going to look down. The shockwave does not complete. And now Acadian could be in trouble. Keith getting Dover's ball just straight under the turret. Outtake last shot finds Gate. Stranglebolts is there. Keith almost goes down. Highlight, I can't count. There's Outtake with a kill, and the turret's going to fall with it.
And Gate, I mean, flashed out of the way, but Keith goes down for it. I think it would have been better to give his life. The bot lane didn't even start walking over, and now it's 3 alive as FlyQuest moves towards the Baron. They're tied in gold. They're very healthy, and this is going to be a tough one to defend. I mean, Gate is going to die to one Corki Rocket if he walks up here.
Pretty much a 2v5, and Looper's going to face check. Does flash out from under a potential CC, but Moon's still chasing. Acadian tries to slow them down, but Looper just wants to keep running away. Fly committing a little hard for the kill. But if they can find it, that'll probably guarantee the Baron. Looper still getting chased down. There's the ulti finally from Looper as he gets away to a section of terrain. High slowed down again, but Looper has no flash. He just can't get away in High. He's going to keep chasing in. Balls going to get himself knocked back as Gate executes himself, but High finally locks down that kill. And now they're bottom lane pushing.
I mean, you can see what I was talking about, though. That was like a freaking 40-second chase to kill off that Nautilus. Definitely difficulty to take that down, but it's not going to matter if FlyQuest can keep getting picks like this, and they have really had explosive play, better than most teams at committing to this, and know, we talked about it. TP advantage, Balls moves around. Froggen steps up, flashed in from elimination, locked down, taken out. The shockwave didn't even complete there. Balls is in the back line. Keith has to flash out. Keith's trying to tank it up, and he's like, ooh, I'm gonna die. And Keith goes right into it. He goes down to that Deathfire touch.
Good play there from Fly. Actually get themselves into the gold lead for now, which is good, but it's been really close between the two sides with now 1,500 gold separating them. So a good swing for FlyQuest, but Baron does stay up. That's an objective that wasn't taken off the table. So there is some good news here for Echo Fox. They've done a decent job kind of manicuring their sideways as well, although now High has got that push back in the right direction for his team. So
the fact of the matter is, it was a bad fight. It was a good play for FlyQuest, obviously, but not giving up the Baron, it's not game ending. It's not even really that big of a shift. It's not a big deal. It's a couple hundred gold changing hands between the two teams right now. They're dead even pretty much, and I still favor Echo Fox's composition if they can get the proper fight. So FlyQuest is the one that kind of has the onus on them to really make these good plays, to really make things happen. Get a great flank from the Poppy and the Evelynn. Get an amazing pick, you know, do something. Because in a standard fight, it's going to be tough. And they're looking
Moon
for
goes
a big
back into
ulti.
High with a package, straight into the back line, but shut down by Keith. Keith ulted up by Mouse. He's going to go down. Oh, finds a two-man elimination. Is going to fall, and now Looper blocking down Balls. Altek's going to get ulted and zoned away from the fight as Moon. He's trying to dip his way back in, but 2 for 1 there in favor of Fly.
2 for 2.
Oh, 2 for 2. I'm really bad at math today.
It's a 2 for 2, but still, that was a great engage from FlyQuest, and it's an even fight, right? And it could have been even worse. Acadian was actually flying through the air to execute Moon as Altek sniped him out of the air with the 4th bullet, made a pop, and they're going to go for this dragon. Echo Fox ends that fight a lot stronger with their remaining pieces. They have a very powerful team, and you know, there's no way that your Eve and your Jhin were going to kill off Looper here. So they had to retreat. They had to take that and run with it. And once again, look at Moon. He's on the side. This is what they need to look for. Big ulti onto 4. Package goes in. High goes down quickly. Keith is far up and doesn't have his flash, so he gets caught there. And then look at Acadian. Sniped out of the air by Altek, and ends up being a pretty even fight here. Altek knows it's his time to leave when that Nautilus ulti comes out.
Smart stuff. As Baron is always going to get some attention here. Sidewave did not get dealt with. I saw Keith down there and thought he was going down to get it, but Looper actually is going to go down instead. Echo Fox smartly keeping their teleport in the right spot, but FlyQuest had a really big moment. In fact, they're going to start the Baron. They know they've got a window spotted out, so maybe just a bait here on getting some vision around for themselves, but the smart move and certainly the right place to be in at this point. Echo Fox now, I think, a little blind. Yeah, very blind, actually. Keith with the Hawk Shot's going to be about all they can get, as I heard of
And Looper's not here. They're just going to engage again. Let's see how fast he is on the TP. He's not coming at all yet.
Froggen's safe for now. Moon can't find the angle. High with good poke, though. Arcadian. Yeah, Lemon look for the flash ult again, but no luck that time.
Yeah, couldn't get it. And it's a play like that that makes people go Moby Boots on that Malzahar. Sometimes, you know, you can catch up that little bit easier. That CDR being lower on the Lucidity Boots is more powerful in team fights. Looper didn't blow his flash, but Acadian is chunked low, and so is Froggen.
Looper nice and tanky, but FlyQuest don't have all the health there with Like. Moon actually going in, looks for Arcadian. Does snipe him down. That's a huge pick now as Fly are going to search forward. Froggen narrowly avoids getting slammed into a wall as Looper's locked up, but he's so tanky. High caught out on the other side as Keith going to turn that one around. And Looper actually enough for his team. Moon gets another assassination onto Froggen, but now they're going to lock him down. The shutdown comes through. Balls is going to wade through Keith and Looper and fall as well. And Altek and Lemon, they've got to make a massive play. Does get the kill, but Looper's going to trade it in. That's a massacre.
It was a really good team fight from Keith, though. He deserves some credit there, staying alive, pumping out so much damage as FlyQuest just keeps going for these explosive engages, and it feels like Echo Fox is not ready for them. They're not having proper positioning. They're staying around when they're low HP. Looper is split from the team a lot and is very hesitant to commit his teleport because he's worried about being down a teleport and having them go for the fight. And here it is once again. Acadian and Froggen already pretty low, so it's a tough fight for them. This allows Moon to look for the execute, and he's hanging around on the side, goes in, pops Acadian. That challenging smite burn takes him down. It's looking like it should be a win fight, but track Keith throughout this fight, constantly auto-attacking, able to have a really good target selection here, moves over onto High, constantly punishing balls. Looper is zoning out the backline. They just can't kill the Nautilus. He takes too little damage. And Keith, great flash there. He's able to back up. They're able to avoid the Poppy stun. Tries to go for the kill here onto Altek. Does get popped off, but it is at least an even trade.
Not too bad there, but it's been awfully messy. 13 kills apiece as we approach the 30-minute mark in the game, and the gold is still close. I think it's going back and forth just a touch, but Echo Fox now the one's up 1,500 gold, and I said that about FlyQuest about 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, very, very close. I also do really like Looper's build. I want to give him a little bit of credit. He's going to have another fight.
Balls caught up.
That moment can wait.
Goodbye, Looper. Kicked out there by Balls, so bit of respite.
Yeah, teams will back off. So I was expecting him to go into more MR, and he is eventually with this Locket. But the Tab Eyes, as well as the Warden's Mail, are so effective against double AD carry composition simply because he has the slowing attack speed passive and the damage reduction from the auto attacks on the Tab Eyes. So I like the fact that he built those up before going into more MR. I think this is actually a more intelligent build. It's really, really cool. And Locket, the more I see this item, the more I prefer it on top laners than the supports, because it scales with your level. When you get the shield, he's going to be a massive high-level Nautilus, and that shield will be huge. If you put it on your support, they can be 4, 5, 6 levels behind sometimes, and it's going to be a lot smaller.
Well, looks like Baron, as per usual, is the objective of the day. Echo Fox currently have a kind of good cone of vision set up, and they're moving themselves in, getting that vision down a little deeper, setting up properly for the fight. FlyQuest never wanted to shy away from a pick if they can find it, but Echo Fox, I think, have kind of got some control back for themselves, and Fly very blind, just trying to poke in some vision here and there. I mean, Balls is kind of safe, but he's taking damage. Arcadian actually eat some from the Jin ulti. There's 2, 3 and onto Looper. He's going to block them all. I like the last attempt from Altec, but
oh, Moon's on the side, though. They are stacked. They keep getting caught by these ults. Let's see if Moon's able to do it again.
Arcadian looks for it, does get out of the way with a lead, but a bit of a chaos now as Keith. He's going to get himself chased down high.
He's on the side, too.
Top is going for it as Moon gets the kill. Elimination, burning down, falls to Gate Zara. Now Looper in the thick of it is going to fall and pop the Guardian Angel. 2 for 1 so far, FlyQuest.
Moon has done a great job of getting to the backline, finding these flanks, along with High. They come in from the side, take out Keith, and a lot of the consistent damage is right here. And Keith struggled to react there, wasn't able to get off the ultimate, wasn't really able to get out much damage at all as he went down in a hurry.
And all of a sudden, FlyQuest's plans manifesting wonderfully. Top lane pushing, bottom lane pushing. Mid lane, they just broke a turret, and now they're going straight to Baron. Froggen, though, he knows that he's got no ultimate, but he's going to try and fend them off, and FlyQuest not going to risk it, just pull away.
Yeah, that's the right call. Fox was there way too fast. I don't think that they could actually commit to that. So once again, I mean, it's pretty much a stalemate. The game is dead even 31 minutes in. We're having so many explosive fights. But one mistake from FlyQuest, and these are going to look awful. They're getting great engages, and it's still very close fights. Look at this. He almost instantly kills off Acadian, and then Keith is kind of moving back and forth there, wanted to try to hit that blast stone and get over the wall, but High was ready on the side. Such good positioning for them to take him out. The shotgun was already down from Froggen. He's been zoned off by Balls, so a good team fight there for FlyQuest, but it's a 2 for 1. Not a big deal.
Yeah, they got a turret out of the deal as well, so they're getting some conversions after objectives, but it's nothing big. We've seen games in this series in particular break wide open when a team fight wins happen, but both teams are playing much smarter here, and once again, FlyQuest are looking to hunt somebody down.
Yeah, they are, and Moon, quietly, 7-1-8 on the eve. He's been smashing both the games that he's played, and with the Lich Bane as well as the Leandry's completed, maybe building towards a voice staff. I mean, he even has 10 stacks on his Dark Seal. Like, this guy does a ridiculous amount of damage if he gets to the backline. If he flanks properly, if he gets on your carries, he can pop them. But at the same time, if you catch him out, if you have proper ping coverage, of which there really isn't much, he will die instantly. He's full damage.
Well, it's kind of funny to see how close this game is because the Drakes are now evened up, both in number and in type. FlyQuest get themselves the last Drake of the game. Elder Dragon will now start spawning, but Cloud Drake's not too bad here. Help them catch up to Echo Fox potentially.
Moon on the side again. He's looking, but I think his team is too far away for him to actually go. If Echo Fox moves forward, Moon will look for this. They're going to go for the collapse with the Jin ulti. Echo Fox needs to respect it. They just don't seem to have the pink wards to actually give themselves the coverage, and they have no idea where Moon is. They're so scared.
Kind of running out of time too, because top lane is actually forcing Keith to go. So
oh, they're going now.
Yeah, they're going to see him. It's going to be a 4v5. There's the ulti up from Altag. Now Froggen going to get collapsed up. Moon though CC'd up immediately as Balls tries to dive in there. 3-man Keeper's verdict kicks a couple out of the fight.
Well, flash is blown. Not much happened.
Ooh!
Doesn't matter.
He's okay. Shakes it off. Oh, Looper. Hello, big play. Doesn't quite find High with the hook, though. Echo Fox actually capitalizing nicely. They cleaned out top wave and instantly tried to turn the fight around.
Yeah, it was a good try again. It's getting harder and harder as more and more MR is being built up. There's 3 Quicksilver Sashes, plus the Abyssal, plus a Moth, plus the Hex Shrinker, even just the standard players, not the tanks, actually have a lot of MR. So it's getting tougher and tougher for Moon to actually get these executions.
And the Locket you mentioned as well is now finished for Lupa, so that's an even bigger deal as far as making sure the team stays healthy. Things are balanced very precariously, though, as High once more.
Yeah, FlyQuest is just pushing the pace, and they know they have to. They can't allow things to settle down, allow Fox to get settled up. They must keep making plays, keep going for attempts, keep going for flanks. As soon as they have one straight up 5v5 team fight, they're probably going to get blasted. So they need to keep going for these and playing very creatively around it. And they have done excellent with that so far.
Tides are starting to turn, though, as the side waves have finally been flipped back around in Echo Fox's favor. Another window into the potential Baron. Frog going to get blue buff, which is actually massive, given that a large fight is likely to break out, or at least Echo Fox will happily force one if they find the right angle. High with the package, able to clear this out. He should rejoin his team quickly and is able to cover a vast amount of distance, but FlyQuest is trying to find an opening, and Echo Fox have delayed the game for long enough where it feels like they can take over 5v5, as you mentioned.
But
the balance
give it to him,
exactly.
Right?
The balance is very, very thin.
And it's one of those things where, sure, if Echo Fox gets that straight up 5v5, frontline versus frontline, they should crush. But Moon and High and the rest of FlyQuest are not really giving it to them. Moon is always on the side looking for picks. They're just kind of dodging in and out. High is trying to poke out the squishies, trying to hit Gate. You get a couple of rockets on that guy, he's starting the fight pretty much dead. And they're playing it very, very well in that regard. And as a result, Echo Fox has not found that straight up 5v5. Moon again looking. He wants Gate.
Yep,
they're going to the engage.
More. Looper actually taking it again. That's the snipe. 5v4 now.
Heat is low too. They got to back off now. They just can't get that straight up fight.
Shot with the shot. Big High. He's going to get chunked out, but Keith does get chunked out as well. Looper managing to get the kill, but he's kind of getting chased by the rest of FlyQuest. They need to get out safely and maybe look for a re-engage. Lemon Nation throws a silence onto the back line. And moving down Arcadian, this could be the moment.
Sees him. He sees him. With that sweeper, they're going to look.
Yeah, they found him now. Moon's going in, but they can blodge on top of him. Damage is there, but not enough to assassinate him. Only 1-for-1. Mid laner down for Fly is good for Fox, but reset once more.
Yeah, and High does go down. Just barely getting pulled back in by that shockwave. Was Valkyrieing out of there. Moon, the guy, starting it off again, gets a pick onto Gate. Flashes in for it. Just insta-kills the Zyra. And Moon has been playing out of his mind.
He's had such a good series, and this Evelyn game is no exception. Both teams, though, they just need a little bit more. It feels like every time there's some sort of fight happening, whether it's Fox defending 5v5 or Fly finding a flank,
they're starting.
It's just not enough. You know what's really good at breaking open games, Azale? The old Baron buff.
The random 50-50 Baron. Let's go, boys.
I mean, that's how they want game one.
I mean, Acadian's tanking this. He's getting low. This is scary. Lemonation on the top side.
Ooh,
Moon
that's
in.
bad.
Oh, God.
Acadian kicked out, and there's going to be the sniping off the
bail
Gate.
out.
He's going to fall.
Acadian
goes back
Oh!
in, finds the snipe on the Moon. That's a great shutdown as Looper just tanking off everything. Old Lance finds High. Looper looking to lock him down. Chains into CC. Shockwave is there. High's going to fall as well. Echo Fox flip it back around. And now Acadian hunting for balls. That's bad news. Bears. Acadian gets behind his team. Falls on top of him, and he's going to be saved.
Oof. In the end, another 2-for-1 for Echo Fox. These fights are getting tougher and tougher for FlyQuest. Froggen has been good with his shockwaves, turning around these fights, being patient, making sure he hits at least one key target, and now Echo Fox is starting it up.
You got to go though, because Sidewaves
in.
again not favoring them. Acadian too low. He has to be in smite range. Ball's going to try and collapse here with Elimination as Altec can snipe somebody off. Echo Fox know they have to leave Gates, respawn him back to clean out the bottom lane wave. But he's got to go quick.
Wave.
That's so many caster creeps.
Yeah. Turret.
Plants are helping. They're going to draw some aggro, and he's barely going to keep that one up.
Ooh, close though.
And that's the thing, FlyQuest have been on top of a lot of the side waves as Keith cleans out top lane as well. Once again, we'll have a reset. And this Baron buff is eluding everyone. Maybe it's a trap. Maybe you don't want the Baron.
I mean, what do you do though besides that, right? It's tough. It's one of those things where Echo Fox, they need to establish hard lines of vision where you feel safe against the Eve. And if you're pushing a tier 2 tower, it's very hard to get your vision set up to make you feel safe about it. So they're happy to scale. They're happy to kind of keep picking up more and more of these items and look for it that way. But FlyQuest, they want to push the gas pedal. They want to get this game going. And it's spotted out.
Always been known for his bold calls.
Oh God, they're going to trade.
Oh my goodness.
Echo Fox doesn't even want to fight. They're going to try to go for the Baron, but they need to rush because they're taking a lot of time here. And that Elder is going to die very soon.
Remember's a flyer here as well. They can poke them off potentially with the Jin ulti. And
Remember, they're going to have Elder
away.
up in a second.
Oh, the snipe! Not enough. Doesn't find anyone. Last bullet's going to go wide. But the Elder is up, and that kind of means Fly have the advantage in the next fight. 5v5 should be there for Echo Fox, but not with this buff.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage. And everything I'm talking about with the Nautilus, how hard he is to kill, that goes out the window when you have a couple hundred true damage coming in from every member. Just look at the turret melting down.
And Lupa get himself burnt.
And now FlyQuest, with that Elder, because Echo Fox made the wrong call, they failed to get it, they're going to go straight for the Baron. They will rush this Baron down, and if Echo Fox comes to fight, you have to fight into an Elder Dragon. You cannot avoid this team. You have to face it one way or the other.
And this Baron is just getting destroyed.
Oh, it's gone.
Echo Fox not even going to be in the area, perhaps, as Lupa goes in for a Baron, goes over. Albeck, they've actually caught him. They've gone to the back of the carry, straight on the Shockwave! Shockwave from Froggen! Echo Fox, together they stand and they fight it off. FlyQuest gonna get wiped here as Arcadian hunts down Moon High, trying to turn things back on their head, but that's 4 clean kills for Fox.
Arcadian jumps in with the Shockwave and delivers FlyQuest their defeat. What a play!
And that could be it, as you said. 45 seconds on most of these timers. Echo Fox are going to try and go for it. They've got a lot of pushing to do, but they've got the power to try and end it.
We'll see if they want to make the risk. They do have Corki up here. They're TPing and they're trying to commit to it. They're going to get one inhibitor. Do they keep pushing? The second wave is coming, and I think they're for sure going to try to rush it down. They can kill these turrets so fast. Looper looking for High, and he has to be very careful as Nautilus just about has the ultimate. He's even going to tank for the minions.
Yeah, High's going to make the miracle play here then and try and snipe somebody.
Lemon's
Gets
up.
over the corner! That's going to be it! High's going to go down. He gets the kill on the other end, but Arcadian is going to fall. Echo Fox rushing to try and get a key. Just ordering the Nexus. Shockwave again! Delivers Echo Fox the victory!
What a game and what a series as Echo Fox knocks down FlyQuest, giving them their first loss of the season and a 2-0 week for Echo Fox, who looked dismal in week 1. This is a reset team. They are looking so strong. They are decisive. They are taking risks. They are playing well on vision. They are actually looking like a really, really good team, and this is a scary Echo Fox to be going up against.
It really is, and I mean, they've shown us unexpected things in Camille support. They've shown us that Arcadian's happy to start gelling a bit more with Lupa and get that synergy going. And Froggen is doing something that I did not see until promotion relegation. He's not just getting leads, he's always been good at that. He's getting them and then taking over games with them.
Yeah, I mean, his Shockwaves, this is like one of the, even though his scoreline, he didn't actually get a lot of the killing blows, this is one of, if not the best Orianna performances I think I've seen as far as team fighting in the NALCS this season. And we've seen quite a few where people are struggling to hit those shockwaves, and it felt like every single fight he was patient, but he was able to nab a carry from FlyQuest, and he deserves so much credit this game. But it's got to be a frustrating one for Moon, because Moon, both the games they lost, he gets Eve, he is smashing, and they lose 7, 3, and 10 in a defeat on the Evelynn. Has got to be a frustrating moment for him. A lot of credit over to Moon here too, because he has really been showing up and proving he is a much better jungler than people thought. But it's the Echo Fox show today.
It certainly is. It's been their week, like you said. From 0-2 to 2 is an impressive bounce back for the team, even though it is early in the season. For FlyQuest, the streak will end there. That is disappointing. They have to think, they look at this matchup and thinking that pretty comfortably they can extend their lead to 4-0 and remain undefeated. Unfortunately, Cloud9 are the only team that can defend that honor now. We'll have to see how that goes later in the day for their match. I mean, FlyQuest, a setback is... It's unfortunate. They'll tie now with TSM for records as far as that goes, which is pretty good for a team that everyone expected to not be doing particularly well at the start of the season. Again, disappointing, but they'll take it. They should learn a lot from that loss here. And I think Draft kind of... They got into some interesting spots, I'll say, with the comp they picked themselves. I think playing their style has worked for them, but they'll need to show a bit of adaptation.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is, I think the execution level that was required for their composition was just a lot higher. They had to play the fight so well. They always had to get the flanks. They always had to get the picks. They always had to start odd man, right? Whereas Echo Fox had to stay as a unit. They played to their win condition. They drafted a great draft, and I think that Echo Fox really did do very well in the drafts across this whole series, so definitely some credit there. But one of the things that I think makes FlyQuest great is the fact that they can play their own style and play this draft that, hey, maybe it doesn't match up as well in the straight up 5v5 and like even, frontline versus frontline type fights, but they're not going to give it to you. They play around it very well, and I think that makes them a unique team. It makes them a hard team to prepare for.
I think I agree, and I think in general things are cleaning up overall for the Echo Fox side. We've been pretty critical of the bottom lane as well, particularly in Keith. Cleaned up a lot of his play over this series. Wasn't getting caught nearly as much. Didn't disrespect Moon as much and get himself picked off in the side lanes.
Yeah.
And played some really good team fights on Ash as well. This is a team fighting comp. Keith has to do a lot of the lifting there.
Yeah, I think Keith actually looked really good in Game 3 here. He was able to get a lot of damage out consistently in these team fights, stay safe. There was really only the one kind of free death in bot lane. But if you compare Game 1, Keith versus Evelyn, to Game 3, Keith versus Evelyn, Keith looked miles better, really did step up when his team needed him.
Great looking series there. But for more on it, we're going to check in with Zyrene, who's standing by with Echo Fox's support.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. And yes, I'm here with Gate from Echo Fox. Right off the bat, I got to ask you, you guys just took down the undefeated team FlyQuest. How does it feel after a 2-0 week?
It feels fantastic. I mean, I think most people didn't expect FlyQuest to be the undefeated team, but they've been looking good. So I'm really happy that we were able to take them down.
Awesome. And I got to go back to the Game 1. Camille gets locked in. It ends up going support. You kind of bamboozled everybody with that one. What went into that pick for you to be able to play that Camille support?
I think it's actually really simple. In Korea, I noticed Camille was too OP, and I just started playing her support. And everyone in Korea server was just like in Champion Select, they were asking me, really Camille support? But after I win the game, they add me and they're like, what's the Camille support counter? So I just practiced it a lot. Maybe some people don't think it's so good, but I would like to think it's just a pocket pick.
Awesome. And so final question here for you as well, Gate, is you weren't actually a member of Echo Fox last split. You were with Phoenix 1. You're new to the team, but you've already helped them double their match wins from last split, getting that 2-0 this week. How have you helped turn this team around?
I think I have to give a lot of credit to my teammates. The team environment moving from P1 to Echo Fox, like everyone's work ethic and basically personalities are all different. I think for me personally, I just fit right in, and I'm looking to, I don't want Echo Fox to be at the bottom. I want them to be at the top.
Awesome. Congratulations. Well, they are not at the bottom anymore. They are in that middle of the pack right now as you guys have a 2-0 week. Congratulations there once again, Gate. And now we're going to throw it over to the guys at the desk to break that one down.
Thank you very much, Zyrene. 2-0 week for Echo Fox, moving to 2-2 on the season. I cannot help but smile when I see
whenever
Gate.
you see Gate talk.
He is, I mean, one, it's his energy, but it's also, when it comes to the way that he talks about his teammates and the organizations and his goals and aspirations, it's always looking at other people and how he can bring his team up.
Right, I mean, we talk about a lot of outspoken players in the league. Most of them are kind of trash talking when they do that, and a lot of the nice guys are quiet and just like, oh, I'm happy to be here.
Right.
But he's an outspoken and happy guy. It's just great to have, see his interviews and his just overall outlook in the game.
Right, I love to see that. I love to get a little bit of insight on that Camille support pick, having played in Korea, probably turning a lot of heads with it.
Right.
And now, of course, we're going to see if, he ever gets it back, because it's already such a top-tier pick, not just in that, in that pocket pick scenario. Who knows if he'll ever get it. Game 2, or rather Game 3, though, here. Let's talk about this Champion Select, because Echo Fox has shored up within just a week's time a lot of weaknesses that we saw from them in Week 1, starting with their drafting.
Right, I think over the course of the week, there's a number of things to look at. One, the swing counter pick is something that's scary. When you pick a tank, you have to ban that out. Now we see that they played standard team comps pretty well. I mean, Ashe, Zyra, Kha'Zix, Nautilus, Orianna is almost as standard as the team comp as you get in this meta. So the fact that they're able to perform extremely well in this game as well is a great sign for them that they can, flip the switch, pick a Camille support, or they can play standard. And that's the kind of stuff you want to see, and it makes drafting against them a nightmare potentially.
Yeah, and then if we get into the game itself, the first we're going to take a look at is a one fight for FlyQuest here. So a little bit of criticism will be thrown at Keith for getting picked. And this is probably the one thing that moving to Week 3, if I had to pick a thing for them to focus on, it's that. It's positioning and rotating to objectives, making sure they don't get caught, because this stalled the game out quite a bit from what was a solid lead for them.
I mean, and after this, Fly continued to make plays. So it wasn't just like this slowed the game down. They actually grabbed the lead back a little bit later, and it's the kind of thing where, like you said, this is the one thing that seems to be holding them back is there's a number of team fights, if you go back and watch this series, where Keith gets popped at the beginning of the team fight, and it happened last week. And he had a lot better team fights this week. He closed out a couple team fights on his own and played extremely well. There was one where he flashed a stun, which baited high, and it was really well played.
Right.
But the problem is, AD carry needs to be consistent. It's probably the most important thing for an AD carry to be, and right now Keith is inconsistent. So that's what we're looking forward.
And his inconsistency right now is being shored up a little bit by the prowess of some of the other players on the team, especially in the team fights. Maybe you could still look at lane phases for a couple of these guys and say, hey, they could, step it up a bit.
Right.
But when we get to the team fights, you're looking at Looper. He's performing very well on that Nautilus, playing the front line, knowing who to CC and go after. Gate himself on that Zyra was getting pretty big and playing the team fights well. And then let's talk about Frog and Shockwaves for a moment, because that was what won this game for them, was his Shockwave placement.
Right. I mean, it eventually got to the point where the game was basically even, and it was his team fighting that really, really brought it all back for the team and opened the game up, as well as the fact that even early game, he was a pretty big factor in giving his team advantages. But here you see just how nice he coordinates with his team. Acadian getting a flank off in stealth mode, jumps in, times it with the Orianna ult to get onto the back line, pops them up, setting Acadian to go off with Looper. And then the backside of the team fight is pretty easy when there's that much threat on the other side.
And that was just the final Shockwave. I mean, this was after, this was Shockwave after Shockwave after Shockwave leading up to this that was keeping them in the game. You can see the gold graph here. And again, so this isn't to say that Echo Fox is free and clear of, any criticism or any improvement to be made. Like, they obviously still have work to do in making this a cleaner win when you're up 3K at 20 minutes. You don't want to see at 23 minutes the goalie go in the other direction.
Yeah, and I mean, there's Looper's teleports occasionally. Like once Keith was getting picked off, Looper TP'd in and just burned it. And there's a number of times there's still some coordination issues, but overall, a massive step in the right direction this week for Echo Fox.
And a confidence booster. So moving forward, having this 2-0 week under their belt will probably feel very good moving into practice. Player of the game this time around, going to Froggen for that Shockwave placement almost entirely. I mean, it's great to see him now operating on the Orianna. We've seen the TF and we've seen the Anivia. So 3 solid picks for him that aren't even considered necessarily the S tier of mid lane champions.
Right, I mean, we haven't seen him on those yet, but the fact that it doesn't seem like he's easily banned out is nice. He obviously still has the ability to carry now that we've seen on the TF and the Orianna now. And especially early game, actually, I think it was under-talked about a little bit, but he had a lot of pressure in the lane versus Corki. I know it's a nice matchup, but he brought the team to him. They got the first turret mid. There was a number of plays that kind of funneled through Froggen's individual play.
And on the flip side of this, FlyQuest sustains their first loss of the split. So they're 3-1, don't need to freak out yet, but this will now kind of test the mental fortitude of this squad here. We heard the casters talking about it. Moon with great score lines on the Evelyn, still sustaining losses. Will he be able to look past that, keep the positive mindset moving into week 3?
I think so. I think you look at both game 1 and game 3, some crazy stuff happened. Obviously, game 1 with the Camille pick and what it was able to do to their bot lane. Once again, in game 3, his bot lane kind of got rolled. Evelyn's a pick that works really well, playing through a bot lane that's either even or ahead just because there's usually so much vision control bottom, but then Evelyn doesn't care about that.
Right.
So having an Evelyn pick with a losing bot lane feels a little bad. And honestly, this was a really, really close series that could go either way. And the fact that Echo Fox smashed them in the draft game 1 with their flexing the Camille pick.
Yep.
I mean, if you take that game out, how does this series go?
Right.
So
Could have gone the other way. It's putting emphasis on the drafting and drafting well. Any one small thing could tip the scales when it comes to League of Legends. Now Echo Fox unseats FlyQuest on #1 FlyQuest, moving to 3-1. We've got more league action coming your way. Cloud9 hit Thrift against Counterlogic Gaming right after the break.
Getting knocked up, Looper goes in, Wombo there into the Shockwave, and there's another Gate. Takes down Artak, Stranglethorn's gonna miss his flash away, but there's the double in for Gate. Yep, I know this movie. Straight into high there, ulti up from Moon, clips him on the edge, and that's a kill.
I'm gonna ult this guy.
Yep.
Kha'Zix flash.
Up, Kha'Zix, help me. Nice. It will in.
Good job.
I have 2 seconds E. I'm gonna E here.
With the policy.
Good job.
I will kill.
That's it. Got it.
Good job. Go mid.
Ooh, that's bad.
Oh, God.
Acadian kicked out, and there's going to be the sniping on the Gate. He's going to fall. Acadian goes back in, finds the snipe on the Moon. That's a great shutdown. And Looper goes in for a Baron, goes over. Albeck, though, they've actually caught him. They've gone to the back of the carry. Stranglethorn, Shockwave from Froggen. Echo Fox, together they stand and they fight it off. FlyQuest gonna get wiped.
Echo Fox knocks down FlyQuest, giving them their first loss of the season and a 2-0 week for Echo Fox.